The Purple Raven by Maurice Switzer. Read for LibriVox.org by Joseph Finkberg. Being an attempt to brighten the sombre old fowl of ancient lore, by the addition of a little local colour, a sort of nocturne involving a bird and a battle. Once upon a midnight dreary, in a hamlet on the Erie, a benighted show disbanded, for the ghost would walk no more. Sadly down and out I landed in the village tavern, stranded, with a wardrobe second-handed in my pocket, pennies 4, with a fraction of a nickel in my wallet, pennies 4, just that much and nothing more. In my hall room I reflected, growing gloomy and dejected, on the far-away Rialto with its haunts that I adore. There in sadness I sat dreaming of the lights on Broadway gleaming, of the happy faces beaming, and the city's mighty roar, dreaming of the distant city and its mad nocturnal roar. I was sad and sick and sore. Shades of Thespis, I, MacBarrett, stranded in a very garret. I, Horatio MacBarrett, who in palmy days of yore the whole public press had lauded, and the people had applauded. I, ovations had accorded, that the roof asunder tore. Such applause as split the rafters and the dome asunder tore. All of that and something more. Then I cried, is this the ending of a genius great, transcending? Oh, relentless fate unbending, give me answer, I implore. Thus the fickle dame invoking, a dill pickle I sat smoking, and the fumes of which were choking, it was rotten to the core. 'Twas a property cigar, nameless, punk to very core, made of cabbage, nothing more. Thus in pain I cogitated on that enterprise ill-fated, wildly billed with flaring posters, 3 sheet 8 and 24, as a monster presentation with a cast of reputation, meaning me. Its appellation was, "Why Maisie Quit the Store," and by dint of iron nerve and brazen front I played the store, only that and nothing more. Would my eminence diminish till at last my abject finish was to pose in moving pictures as perhaps a matador, or some figure less exalted, some harlequin assaulted, madly chased, lassoed, and halted by some burly stevedore. I could see my form upon the screen beneath the stevedore, oozing sweat from every pore. Here the need of dough, however, made me sit up and endeavour to fling aside these reveries that so heavy on me bore. It was up to me to borrow or to beat it on the morrow, so I realized in sorrow as I paced my chamber floor. I saw "beat it, beg or borrow" written on the chamber floor, only that and nothing more. Oh, for one I could politely touch for 10. 'Twas useless really, in advance I knew the answer to a touch, 'tis ancient law. Then as prospects looked more dreary, and I sat despondent weary, I heard someone singing "Dearie," 'twas the ingenue Lenore. Ah, her voice just like the whistle on the Erie had Lenore, like a siren, only more. Dwelt on Easy Street this lady, on the favoured side called Shady, but no mummer knew the angel who financed the fair Lenore. Unto her my faith I'd anchor, she'd consent to be my banker, or by all the gods I'd spank her. This most solemnly I swore, as she presently stood posing at my door. That much I swore, she had plenty and some more. Quite ingenuous and easy, after fashion Japanesey, she declined the chair I offered and sat down upon the floor. There she squatted on the matting and kept vacuously chatting, while I lied without the batting of an eyelid as I swore. She possessed a voice the like of which was never heard before, outside madhouse, ne'er before. Here, right skilfully, I pleaded for the 10-spot that I needed, and she readily assented, as I'd guessed some time before. Then there came a sound perplexing at the moment of annexing that fair 10-spot. This was vexing, someone knocking at the door. 'Twas some butter in, unwelcome, knocking at my chamber door. It was sickening, nothing more. "This is certainly distressing," I remarked, myself addressing. "A most unwelcome visitor come to thwart me," so I swore. Still, a calm demeanour feigning, I stalked off uncomplaining, yet with little heart remaining, and I opened wide the door. But the odour of the kitchen floated through the open door. Only that and nothing more. I was probably mistaken, by the wind the door was shaken. Said I, glad indeed no visitor was come to scare Lenore. But I scarcely was reseated ere the rapping was repeated. Then again I was defeated, I, when just about to score, then I raced across the floor. Quick I flung aside the shutter, when without a flutter, a curious purple raven did into the chamber soar, and I watched it much astounded, really speechless and dumbfounded, calmly circle twice around it, then alight on Theodore, calmly land upon a pallid plaster bust of Theodore, worth a quarter, hardly more. Said the fair Lenore, arising, all a tremble, "How surprising!" Here her confidence and courage I proceeded to restore. I remarked that in New Haven they produce that brand of raven, but in truth so queer a craven I had heard of ne'er before. Such a curious purple raven I had heard of ne'er before. He sat brooding, nothing more. Howsoever I fell musing, 'twas ridiculous refusing to harbour this queer prodigy from some unknown distant shore. I could sell him on the morrow, happy thought, and now to borrow 10. Quite listless sat the raven on the bust of Theodore, scarcely blinked, just sat in silence on the bust of Theodore, half awake and nothing more. I had courage now in plenty, so I raised the touch to 20, and Leonore, she took it calmly, simply nodded, nothing more. But I saw the raven blinking, rather insolently winking, till I couldn't keep from thinking he was tipping off Lenore. But reflecting on her future, unobservant sat Lenore. Here I brought her to once more. Said she, "Surely in a minute, just you wait till I unpin it." And then digging up a wad, she soon peeled off one golden score. In the very act of handling, as I reached to make a landing, she quite floored me by demanding, "Say, when will you this restore? I would like to know for certain when this 20 you'll restore." Quoth the raven, "Nevermore." Oh, I trembled twixt vexation, rage, surprise, exasperation. Oh, was ever man confounded by a bird like this before? Cried I, "Thing of evil, learned in the devil's arts, gold earn it! Beast, when said you I'd return it?" Quoth the raven, "Nevermore." Thus the wretched fowl reiterated calmly, "Nevermore, only that and nothing more." Said Lenore, "How very funny! I think I'll keep my money. I believe that bird's our hoodoo. He's pursuing us. Oh, Lor!" Round the wad her fingers tightened, and her rosy face grew whitened, as she stumbled, badly frightened, towards the open chamber door. And she never stopped a minute when she reached the open door. Simply beat it, nothing more. As she left, my hope departed, and I stood there broken-hearted, gazing blankly at the darkened hall beyond the chamber door. "She'll return again," I muttered, but the words were scarcely uttered, when the raven croaked and sputtered his portentous "Nevermore." Just to mock me in my sorrow, he kept croaking "Nevermore" from his perch on Theodore. Out of my stupor then I started, for this taunt a sting imparted, that unloosened my store of cuss-words, and a stream I did outpour, screaming, "Demon! Fiend! You craven of a blabbing, prating raven! If from hell or from New Haven, get thee out of my chamber door." Here I flung a pitcher at him, hit and shattered Theodore. Flew the raven to the floor. There he grew above the table like the giant rock of fable. Then he grabbed me by the collar with a yank that hurt me sore. Next he clawed me, bit and poked me, stood me off again and soaked me, jerked me back again and choked me, till I sank upon the floor, till all consciousness departed, and I swooned upon the floor. 'Twas my finish, nothing more. I awoke, the sun was streaming through the casement. Was I dreaming? Was this silken couch I lay on an illusion, nothing more? Were these tapestries and drapings all around me mental fakings, merely visionary shapings that a subtle likeness bore? Yes, a strange familiar likeness to environments of yore. Was I smoking? Nothing more? No, ye gods and little fishes, yon debris of bottles, dishes, those cigars and cigarette butts, all the chamber scattered o'er. Too quick consciousness restore me. Then I knew, and then I swore me, with the raven still before me, I'd drink soda evermore. And whene'er the tempter lures me, bids me hit it up once more, half is soda, maybe more. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.